At the University of Strathclyde, we believe ideas can change the world. Our achievements have been recognised with the award of the Times Higher Education's UK University of the Year, the first institution to receive the prestigious honour more than once. This accolade follows our success as the Sunday Times Good University Guide Scottish University of the Year and the award of the Queen's Anniversary Prize for Excellence in Energy Innovation. Our multi-award-winning community is improving health, safeguarding energy and using quantum to push the boundaries of imagination. We're addressing climate change, where big ideas are needed more than ever. Our One Ocean Hub is working with 50 partners to transform the world's response to plastic pollution, rising sea levels and overfishing. Together, we're empowering those who are reliant on the ocean for food, jobs and transport, while protecting it for future generations. In Scotland, we're bringing together the best minds from business, industry and government in the country's first innovation district. We're creating jobs and developing a place where shared ideas can thrive. Along the river, Strathclyde is at the forefront of the National Manufacturing Institute Scotland, an international centre to drive innovation and skills development. Whether we're bringing space data to Earth or developing fintech, our technology is built with people in mind. We're supporting our people by creating an inspiring campus and investing in learning and teaching, research and innovation hubs. We believe our people's health and happiness is at the heart of our success. We've transformed our wellbeing services, and our new Strathclyde sport facilities are empowering elite athletes and those who are trying something new. As a socially progressive university, we are committed to openness. We're bringing people of all backgrounds together, making an impact on our students, our city and our global community. It's a way of working that makes our alumni attractive to employers and draws partners from around the world. Working together, big ideas can improve the world.
Hi guys, good evening everybody. Welcome back to our another series of Global Reach. All right, so Global Reach is a series where we are going to speak live and we're going to introduce to you a new foreign university that you can probably explore. And today we have a very interesting university that we would like to introduce to all of you here. Okay, so it's University of Strathclyde from Scotland. Okay, so University of Strathclyde is a public research university, okay, located in Glasgow, Scotland, and it's founded in the year 1796. It's a it's a university with with a lot of age, and yeah, it's about 200 plus years old. Okay, and it's our honor to have the International Recruitment Officer, a Senior International Recruitment Officer of Mr. Gordon, that he will be speaking with us and sharing with us his insights and what is it like studying in Strathclyde. All right, so before we kickstart, I know it's a public holiday. How's everyone doing? Yeah, so it's a lovely Thursday evening and it's a public holiday. I'm pretty sure all of you have had a good rest. And if you are celebrating our Muharram, I wish you had a really great day today. Okay, so as we all know, we are, in our 2020 has been a really challenging and really interesting year for all of us. And What we are going to look at while exploring further study options are because it's pandemic and a lot of the countries are being hit badly, including ourselves. Malaysia, we have been undergoing MCO for 2 months. Yeah, we stay at home. We couldn't do much, but of course, education is still an essential part of our life. As we finish school, in high school or in pre-university, we need to look at what's next for us, right? And today, just like a lot of our series, we are going to introduce a international university. And if you, wherever you are watching from, whether you're watching from Study Hub Student Advisory, whether you're watching from JS Study Solutions, or you're watching from Study Hub Mentakap, or you're watching from our sister page of Study Hub Student Advisory, Jen Jarum, I welcome you. And make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow us for more interesting live contents like this. And remember to share the stream out so more students and more parents perhaps can learn about further studying elsewhere. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to give a big welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Gordon. Hi, Gordon. How are you?
Hi, Brian. Thank you. Very well, thank you. Thank you for that introduction and for the introductory video as well. I hope you all enjoyed it. Good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us on a public holiday. I hope we've all had a pleasant and relaxing day.
Yes. All right, Gordon, I heard you're dialing in from London.
Yes.
Yeah. So what time is it now in London?
In London, it is 1 o'clock. So we're on the same time zone as Glasgow. So we're just Glasgow, where the University of Strathclyde is based, is about a 4-hour train ride north of London, where I am just now. So in the northern part of the UK.
And Gordon, you are Scottish yourself?
I am, yes. As some of you may.
Can you perhaps share with us more about the interesting traits and what is special about Scotland?
Well, perhaps we could maybe open it up to the students, and they could tell us if there's anything that's particularly stand out, what they know about Scotland. Are they able to access the chat?
Yep. All right. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching us here live, I welcome you. And if you have any questions regarding about further studying in University of Strathclyde or even further studying in UK itself, you can actually leave your question in the comment section. Don't be shy. Okay. We will actually try to address each and every question. And of course, we have Mr. Gordon here to assist us in, tackling all of the questions, because I can't do it myself. And we have the expert here, Gordon. Gordon, you are also the recruitment officer for the Southeast Asia region, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So are there a lot of Malaysians studying in Strathclyde now?
There are, yeah. So it's so overall. So Strathclyde, as I'll talk about in the forthcoming presentation, has a strong international cohort, and Malaysian students historically have been very prominent in that. So we've strong relationships with many kind of education partners in Malaysia, not least yourselves, but also higher education institutions as well. So we have some particular tie-ups with UCSI in KL, also Taylor's University as well. So we've got a long-standing kind of what we call articulation agreement, whereby students can study 1 or 2 years of undergraduate study in the home University of Malaysia, and then kind of progress to 2 years of further study at Strathclyde. So that's a particularly long-standing agreement with the Department of Architecture, which we've opened up to the wider engineering faculty as well. So that's just one example of the kind of many tie-ups and relationships we have with Malaysian institutions. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you have partnerships with UCSI, Taylor's, right? And what is the course that Malaysian students like to choose when they study in Strathclyde?
So I think, given the kind of historic agreement with architecture, so we are kind of
Right.
our course is accredited with, I think, is it the LAM
Okay.
accreditation body in Malaysia. So architecture, we've traditionally been successful, but that extends to the kind of engineering faculty wide, but also our business school, where we have kind of many strong subjects and departments which prove popular in Malaysia, as well as across our kind of faculty of science, where we have many strong departments, and also humanities and social sciences. So I'll talk about these kind of individual departments and faculties in more detail during the presentation. But yeah, a breadth of subjects, and I mean, I think students now are kind of looking beyond the kind of the traditional what
Yeah.
might be deemed some of the more traditional subjects. And so as a university, we're always kind of trying to kind of stay ahead of the curve, have conversations with our industry partners across various sectors, and continue to develop new degree programs that are very relevant and obviously safeguard the employability of our graduates.
For sure. Right. So, Gordon, perhaps I can leave time to you so you can go dive deep into sharing more about University of Strathclyde.
Yep,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Right.
Thank you. So I'll just share my screen here.
Yeah.
That's a presentation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in and watching us live, I'm speaking to Gordon Dunlop. He is the Senior International Recruitment Officer for the Southeast Asia region from University of Strathclyde. And if you are interested in studying in UK or even University of Strathclyde, you should totally continue watching. Stay tuned with us until the end. And if you have any questions, feel free to just ask us away in the comment section. Take it away, Gordon.
Thank you, Brian.
Right.
So as you'll all have seen in the video, Strathclyde has enjoyed a very successful year, 2019-20. So we have been awarded the very prestigious Times Higher Education UK University of the Year award. And we're the only university to have received that award for a second time. So it's a fantastic accolade for the university. And it really kind of is testament to a number of things. So obviously the academic kind of profile of the university, as well as the more sort of holistic student experience, which is something that we've invested heavily in over the past 5 years, and will continue to do so as part of our kind of 5-year plan, and that takes us through to 2025. So we're continually investing in the kind of infrastructure of the campus and that overall student experience. That's also
sorry, can I just quickly jump in a bit? Because Gordon, you are in presenter view.
Okay.
Yeah. So could you possibly go full screen, because it will students can actually get to see clearer. Yeah.
Is that working now?
Just like this. And you go. Is there a full screen option?
Yeah, I thought I was in full screen. Just bear with me.
It wasn't full screen just now.
How's that now? No.
It's not yet, but it's all right, I guess.
Bear with me.
Yeah.
I'll try it again.
Okay.
Is that any different now?
It's still the same, but don't worry.
It's coming up with the full screen.
So you are in the presenter mode, where you can when people can see your next slide, and so your overall slide composition is slightly smaller. But don't worry, I think it's still doable. Yeah.
Strange. Let's bear with me now.
And you try choosing to the presentation mode. Yeah.
No, I'm afraid I've no idea why that's happening. There's
Don't
nothing.
worry about it, Gordon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
don't worry about it.
nothing incriminating, I don't think, in the notes. So,
Okay.
if you can bear with me,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. You can
So,
carry on. Yeah.
yep. So that kind of success and recognition is also translated to the Sunday Times Good University Guide, Scottish University of the Year, and also, as mentioned in the video, the Queen's Anniversary Prize. And that's testament to our kind of investment in infrastructure and kind of our approach to kind of renewable energy across the university campus, which, as you'll have seen in the video, is a kind of big drive of the university in relation to kind of investing in, but also engaging in research and kind of collaboration with industry around renewable energy and clean, environmentally friendly policies. So Brian kind of mentioned that we were founded in 1796. So a kind of ancient university of over 200 years old. We were founded as the place of useful learning. So we were an institution who were one of the first to, for example, introduce higher education access for female students, and also for students coming from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. And that kind of notion of useful learning very much underpins what we're about today and our mission statement today. So I mentioned that we kind of continually strive to stay ahead of the curve and to develop new courses which are relevant and secure employability for our graduates. And so that really kind of encompasses that approach to useful learning. We want to see our graduates not only gaining the kind of skills and the knowledge through their kind of their teaching and their academic experience, but being able to apply that knowledge and learning in useful and kind of innovative and impactful careers. So on campus, we have about 23,000 students in total, and almost a quarter of them are international students. So they kind of hail from 154 different countries. So it's a very strong international presence on campus. And as I mentioned previously, Malaysian students make up a sizable proportion of that cohort. And those 23,000 students are spread across 4 faculties. So the first one we'll go to is humanities and social sciences. So each of the 4 faculties has a number of different departments. And within each department, you'll have a number of different courses at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. So just some of those departments in humanities and social sciences will have options in things like communication and media. We have a very large school of education. If you're into politics and international relations, we have government and public policy. We have history. We have law. So many different kind of options in law, whether that be looking to kind of practice as a lawyer, or to kind of gain grounding in law and then go and specialize in something like human rights law or commercial law. So a lot of different opportunities there. As well as that, we have a school of psychological sciences and health, which also kind of leads on nicely to social work and social policy. Then we have our Faculty of Engineering. So there are 9 different departments in engineering, all very strong departments. I think 8 of the 9 are in the top 10 in the UK, including some very highly ranked departments. So architecture, for example, is number 3 in the UK, and has that very strong kind of relationship and historic relationship with Malaysia and many Malaysian institutions. So again, each of the departments that you see on this slide will have a number of different course options available. Some of the more traditional subject offerings, like kind of chemical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, or electronic and electrical engineering, but also some more specialized departments as well. So things like naval architecture. You'll have seen in the video the kind of the emphasis that we have on kind of ocean study and kind of shipping is a particular specialization of the engineering faculty, and which kind of ties in nicely with priorities for Malaysia as well, in relation to the kind of naval and maritime heritage there. And also things like design, manufacture, and engineering management. So that's an interesting one that encompasses kind of traditional engineering concepts, but perhaps attracts students coming from a slightly more creative background where they're able to combine both those talents. We have then the Faculty of Science. So departments within the Faculty of Science are chemistry, physics, mathematics and statistics, computer science, and also the very prestigious Strathclyde Institute of Pharmacy and Biomedical Sciences. Very highly ranking departments, usually kind of around first place, depending on the rankings, but usually about first place in the UK. And as a result of that, it attracts many tie-ups with various kind of third sector or private sector companies in terms of collaborative research, drug development, and also the National Health Service in the UK, as well as a strategic partner of this department. And that translates to the kind of level to which students will engage with industry across the teaching of the programme, and also employment opportunities thereafter. And that's something that really kind of goes hand in hand with all of our programmes. All of our programmes will have a degree of industry engagement and industry-facing modules throughout the teaching component of the courses. And then last but not least, we have the Strathclyde Business School. So again, very prestigious faculty. We carry a triple accreditation. So for context, only 1% of business schools worldwide hold that accreditation. So we're AMBA, EQUIS, and AACSB accredited. So that's the UK, European, and American accreditation bodies. A top 10 UK business school with some kind of very strong departments. Accounting and finance is usually vying for number 1 or 2 in the UK. And again, similar to engineering, there are some of the more traditional departments here that you'd expect to see in a business school faculty, but also through things like kind of management science and hospitality and tourism, we have some slightly more niche subject matter. And I think within each department, there are also continuously new courses being developed. And those courses are developed through conversations that we have with our industry partners to ensure that graduates are graduating with the skills that are relevant for a successful career in the sector. So that leads us nicely on to kind of the wider conversation around industry. So you might have picked up in the video, the introductory video that there was mention of the Glasgow City Innovation District. So this is a part of the city centre which is devoted to innovation, both in terms of the university and our research, but also it's a shared space, a collaborative space for private sector companies and also local government to kind of engage with the university in that research. And so we have, for example, a new technology and innovation centre. So that's a multi-million-pound brand new investment with state-of-the-art facilities where companies can come in and engage in collaborative research across all manner of different spheres and sectors, and kind of engage in cutting-edge research. And you'll see from the slide there that we've been able to secure millions of pounds in grant funding from various private sector companies. So you can see that we're the #1 university in Scotland in terms of private sector grant funding, and #3 in the UK. So that's very significant when you consider the kind of the mass appeal of the Oxfords and Cambridges of this world. So we do very well in terms of our industry engagement, and that reflects well both in the student experience and also in the students' employability after graduation. So in relation to entry requirements for Malaysian students, so I've got a couple of slides here just outlining the various entry points and pathways for students of the variety of of curricula that you have in Malaysia. So, but the bachelor's level, so students looking at postgraduate study, and I believe most of you are looking at undergraduates. I won't go into too much detail on postgraduates in the presentation. But yeah, generally speaking, we'd look for a kind of a 60% average in your undergraduate degree from a kind of reputable higher education institution in Malaysia. And that would qualify you for entry onto most of our postgraduate programs. Some degrees look for specific levels of study or specific kind of courses of study, but the vast majority is 60% average in a relevant subject. At undergraduate level, so A level and IB, relatively straightforward. The kind of the A level entry point, I mean, it does depend on the faculty and the course to which you're applying, but generally speaking, something like 3 A's, an A and 2 B's would qualify you for entry onto most courses. But there is some variation in that, so I'd encourage you to get on our website, look at the course pages where the entry level and the entry requirements are detailed more specifically for each course. The same goes for IB, so typically somewhere between 32, 34, 36 would qualify you for direct entry. And often, so with A-level and IB students, we can offer direct entry into year 2 of a program. So being based in Scotland, our education system differs slightly to that of England in that our undergraduate programs tend to be 4 years in duration. Now, the reason being the Scottish school leaving certificate isn't quite at the same level as A-levels. And so in Scotland, we do an extra year at university. So meaning that the first year tends to be quite broad. You study a range of different subjects. There's flexibility there for you to experience subjects before you have to kind of narrow your subject choice and specialize. So that certainly suits some students. Having that flexibility, having that opportunity to experience subjects before you then need to specialize. However, we do also recognize that some students want to kind of get the degree in the shortest time possible, and obviously there are kind of budget constraints as well. So for that reason, many of our courses do offer direct entry to year 2 of the program for particularly high performing students across various curricula. And so with our business school as well, we actually offer a 3-year degree program, the Bachelor of Business Administration, which you can graduate with a specialization. So for example, a BBA with specialization in marketing or specialization in finance, for example. And so that caters for A-level and IB. UEC, we accept grades, so they're comparable to Scottish Highers, which is the leaving certificate in Scotland. So generally something like kind of 75% in the UEC or kind of comparable GPA, depending on the grading system. For SPM, so this is the one qualification that we would need to see a pathway. So you have to go through a foundation program, which we deliver on campus through our partners study group. And upon successful completion of that foundation program, you would graduate into year 2 of the degree program. So you're effectively studying for the same length of time as you would be if you were to get direct entry onto the first year of the degree program. And as you'll see with SPETM, OSMAT, and SAMC, we can offer direct entry, and particularly with SPTM, there's the opportunity for year 2 entry as well. They're comparable to, as far as our entry requirements are concerned, they're comparable to the global A-level qualification. So I touched on, yes.
Gordon.
Yep.
Hey, just quickly jump in. Just want to clarify something on your slide. Is STPM? Is the T that comes first? So probably in the future, okay, you know, you can make the amendments, but don't worry about it, Gordon. And
useful point.
Yeah, because I'm also a STPM student myself. So yeah, it's a pretty tough course to study, and for students who go through STPM. they will understand. So Gordon, just want to quickly direct you on top. There's a swap display button. Will you possibly try clicking it on top?
Yeah. Yep.
On top of it. Swipe display. Oh, your
Stop.
entire screen.
Did you say stop display? Did you, or what was it?
Swap display.
Swap display.
Swap. Yeah.
Okay, just bear with me.
Yeah. Can you reshare again? Because I think you probably press stop display. All right. Okay. Can you enter your presentation? Go full screen.
Yeah. And you're saying
it's the same thing that you see?
Yeah, I'm not seeing swap display though. I don't seem to have
on
that.
top. Do you have that?
No, I don't seem to.
Are you seeing a full screen?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So probably what you are seeing is different with what we are seeing.
Yeah.
Just slightly. We are seeing your next slide as well, but don't worry. Okay.
It doesn't look like I have the ability to change that, I'm afraid. So if you can persist with me, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so I've touched on the foundation program. So for those studying,
Sure.
what was that? Was that the SPM? You would have to do this foundation route. So it's through our study group partner. It's delivered on campus. You'd study for 9 months. There are 2 different options. You could start in January or in September, and you would graduate into year 2 of the degree program. There are English language requirements for our courses as well. So generally speaking, IELTS is the test that is kind of universally recognised by UK universities, and we'd look for a 6.5 overall with no individual score less than 5.5, unless you're studying science degrees, in which case it's 6.0. Now, with the kind of the pandemic and lockdown, we have had to kind of review our acceptance of various other qualifications, so things like TOEFL, Pearson's, and more recently Oxford English are now accepted, and all the entry requirements for English are available on our website. So costs. So an important slide here. You can see the kind of the variation here. So this is the range of tuition fees that we have across undergraduate and postgraduate level. I'll not get into it in too much detail. So it's really to give you a sense of the course fees that we have. So generally speaking, our humanities and social sciences and our science subjects will be at the slightly lower end of that spectrum, whereas the engineering and business school subjects will be at the higher end of the spectrum for both undergraduate and postgraduate. So the cost of living, that's an interesting one for Glasgow and Scotland, where the cost of living does tend to be relatively less expensive than particularly the south of England and especially London. So if we were to look at a postgraduate requirement of £12,000 for the postgraduate year, or undergraduate for £9,000 for the academic year, in living in London, you would need approximately double that. So Glasgow as a city is relatively more inexpensive than London, so those kind of costs of living are indicative of accommodation, food, and general kind of living costs as well. One great thing, and I'll touch on this on a future slide, is just the proximity of the campus to Glasgow city centre. So all of the kind of services are right on your doorstep, so there's no additional travel costs if you're studying at the University of Strathclyde. We have a number of scholarships available as well. And again, without going into too much detail, they do differ dependent on the course that you apply for. So all of the kind of the tuition fees and the scholarship details are available for each course of study on the website. So we have course pages for each individual course, which outline all of the kind of much more detailed information that you need in relation to the modules that you'll study, the entry requirements, and also the fees and the scholarships that are available to you. So accommodation is, so we have an extensive offering across the campus. So as I mentioned, we're based right in the heart of the city centre. And actually, this next slide is quite useful. So this area here, the orange area, is the campus village where all of the accommodation is housed. And then we have the kind of wider university campus round about. So just all classes and lecture halls will be just a 5 or 10 minute walk from your accommodation. We have options to suit all of various different kind of needs and requirements, and also budgets as well. So at the sort of cheaper end of the accommodation, you'll have your own room, but you'll be sharing the kind of shared facilities like the bathroom, kitchen, and shared living space. At the slightly more expensive end, you'll have your own private living space, so your own sort of bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, that kind of thing. We also have options of single-sex accommodation and alcohol-free as well. So I showed you the campus map there, and then this next slide is actually the campus in relation to the wider downtown area. So that's this slide depicts the very heart of the city centre. And you'll see that all the kind of services and amenities that you'd need or you'd be looking for from a big city are within easy reach of the campus. So the two main railway stations are just a 10 or 15 minute walk from the university. You also have museums, the shopping district, kind of cafes, bars and restaurants, and also various parks, all within a 10 or 15 minute walk from the university. So it's very centrally located. And no kind of further kind of travel expenses are required really to navigate the city. It's a great city, Glasgow, to be a student as well. It's got a large student population across 3 universities and a very large college as well. So a large international student cohort. And that's kind of reflected in the services. They're very student focused. It's a very kind of student driven city with kind of multiple kind of attractions and places of interest, museums, galleries, shopping, that kind of thing. 2 international airports as well. So they fly, there are 2 flights daily to Dubai, for example, from where you can connect onto Malaysia. There's also many shuttles down to London on a daily basis. And as I mentioned earlier as well, the train to London is just 4 hours from Glasgow. So it's all very easy to navigate around the UK, Europe, and access to the world at large. So we're getting there. Just a couple more slides for me before I can open up to questions. So thank you for bearing with me. Just wanted to point out some of the additional support services that we have, which kind of reflect the kind of holistic student experience, because there's so much more to your experience in Glasgow and at the university over and above the learning and the academic experience. So we have things like a very extensive library. A Strathclyde Sport is a brand new sports facility, so a £31 million investment, which opened up in September 2018. A fantastic state-of-the-art facility, which works very closely with our students' union. So we have the Student Union and the Strathclyde Sport Union, which host a number of different clubs and societies, both in relation to sport, but also other hobbies and interests as well. And also located within that is the International Student Society. So they're a society which are very active and host all sorts of events and trips for international students. Excuse me. We have a health and wellbeing service who can provide advice and support on any kind of health concerns that you have during your time at study. And the International Student Support Team can support you with any other kind of, whether it's administrative issues you might encounter or just support and advice on anything that can arise during your period of study. There's always help and support there. And one last one, the career service is a very important one as well. So they can support you in developing your job applications, your CV, helping you to kind of to gather relevant experience and opportunities in relation to enhancing your employability throughout your period of study, and giving you guidance on job application post-graduation. And just one final one on kind of some additional points or additional facilities within the university. So I mentioned all the clubs and societies across the Students' Union and the International Student Society. We also have a very active Malaysian Student Society within that as well. So I remembered that they are, I mentioned earlier that there are many Malaysian students on campus in any given year, and they have a very active student society where you can get together, and they'll kind of have events throughout the kind of Malaysian cultural calendar. And that also translates to an active alumni group for postgraduate study and after graduation as well. So you'll be thankful that that's us come to the end of it. So I'd welcome any questions that you have in relation to the presentation, or kind of in relation to Glasgow, or studying in Scotland in general.
Right. Thank you so much, Gordon. What you gave us just now was clear and concise, an in-depth overview of University of Strathclyde and also studying in Glasgow. We currently have a question from a private message. We just received a private message question from the student. So the student was asking, is living cost in Scotland high? And how much is it roughly per month? And can I work part-time during my studies?
Yes,
I think this is a question, yeah.
Yep, so as you'll have seen in the slide, so generally speaking, we would say about £1,000 per month.
All
so
right.
the kind of undergraduate fee there was about £9,000, reflecting the kind of 9-month term, undergraduate term. And the postgraduate one was about £12,000. So yeah, on average about £1,000 per month. That would cover all accommodation, living costs, food, that kind of thing. And yes, you very much can work part-time. So I mentioned in the presentation that Glasgow is a very student-focused city. It has a large student population, and so the local economy relies on its student population to fulfil many part-time roles in things like the retail sector, services, hospitality, that kind of thing. So to give you some sort of context, even earning minimum wage, you are entitled to work up to 20 hours per week as an international student. So you could potentially cover about 60 to 70% of those living costs by working part-time.
Okay. And the minimum wage is?
I think for student age population, it would be about £7 per hour.
£7 per hour. We're talking about tutoring, research assistant.
That's research assistant, not so much. So tutoring is possible in a kind of private sense, depending on your speciality. At the university, if we're talking primarily undergraduate students, then probably not so much. It would be very much dependent on your department and your skills. But there are opportunities across the campus through things like student ambassadorial roles, so there are opportunities there. But in relation to kind of tutoring and research assistant, that would be more at kind of doctorate level. So people studying PhDs, yes, they would certainly have that opportunity. But for undergraduate students, you would need a kind of depth of experience, which is reserved really for kind of PhD students.
Understood. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still watching with us, this is a session where we introduce University of Strathclyde, and I'm speaking to Gordon Dunlop. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comment section below. So, Gordon, I think a lot of students and parents are interested to know this. How's the situation of the pandemic over in the UK, and is business as usual for university?
So not quite business as usual. And I think that's really down to not necessarily the kind of extent of the pandemic here, but more down to the caution that we're taking in order to kind of stave off a second wave. So things have improved dramatically in the UK, but particularly in Scotland. So the Scottish government has taken some great measures to kind of reduce the rate of infection and we've seen that drop significantly over the last 6 weeks or so. So Scotland is in a very strong position, but obviously we're keen to kind of maintain that. So measures kind of have been relaxed slightly with each passing week. And universities have been given guidelines where we can open in September as normal, but adhering to government guidelines on social distancing. So as I mentioned, we can't compromise the health and safety of staff and students. So it's still very much at the forefront of our decision making. And as such, we're looking at a situation where we'll probably have what we call a blended learning approach for the first semester. So between September and mid-December, we're taking a kind of hybrid approach to the tuition. So the hope is that the majority of it will be as normal a campus experience as possible for our students. However, some larger scale lectures probably will have to go online. So lectures of kind of upwards of 50 to 100 people will have to go online, at least in that first semester. But the hope is that the smaller classes, the tutorials, the group work, the labs, for example, will be able to take place in person.
Yeah. Gordon, you mentioned hybrid approach, meaning it's a mixture of both campus learning and online learning.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel many universities, I think including Malaysia, it's we're using a wait and see approach and see how things goes as we develop, right? And it depends on how cases are. But as what you mentioned just now, I think a lot of measures have been taken place. And what can you share with us some examples of what are the measures like, apart from things that we know, like social distancing for sure, not more than how many people for gathering, like 10 people, or
well, it's really it's 10 to 20 people, I think, would be
okay. All right.
But it's not so much about how many people per gathering, but rather the size of the space. So if it's a large lecture theatre, then obviously you have kind of scope for having more people. So it's really dependent on the size of the space, and we'll be given guidelines from the government on that, which we'll have to adhere to. But you're right, I mean, social distancing is going to be in place, increased use of sanitizer across the university. So there'll be kind of sanitization points at regular intervals where you interact with hard surfaces. Also things, I mean, there's kind of industrial levels of cleaning going on around the university. So there's a lot of reassurance in that respect. It's something that we're certainly not compromising on the kind of health and safety of students. That's first and foremost in our minds as we kind of reopen.
That's great to know. And Gordon, and another follow-up question is, UK has been a very popular study destination, I think not only for Malaysians, but also for students all over the world. China students, Indonesians, and Singaporean students are going to UK to study as well. And there are many universities in the UK, right? And my question to you is, as you have mentioned in your presentation slides, there are really a lot of strong points that you have mentioned for University of Strathclyde in terms of research, your subject world rankings, employability, and also your interesting facilities. And you have upcoming sports facilities as well that's launching later this year, right?
The sports facilities are open, so that was open in 20.
It's already open. Yeah. Okay, that's great. What is one thing that stand out the most compared to other UK universities for University of Strathclyde for the benefit of our students? Yeah.
I think industry engagement would probably be that kind of standout factor. So as I mentioned, we have been and continue to be a place of useful learning. So that's very much at the forefront of our kind of student experience and also research collaboration. So we pride ourselves in the extent to which our various faculties and departments are connected with industry. That translates to, the kind of research and development and work opportunities for students, but also in the actual teaching experience as well. So you'll have companies coming in and giving guest lectures or setting coursework. You'll be working on case studies that are kind of real life scenarios from the relevant sector. So it's very much at the kind of forefront of what we do as a university.
Right. So students are given the opportunity to help industries solve problems, or
Absolutely.
giving them a proposals to do something new. Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. Okay. And can we quickly talk a little bit about the English requirements? You did mention that the general admission is IELTS 6.5, right?
Yes.
For English. Yeah. So and also for science is IELTS 6.0. Let's say, for example, for a student, they do not have IELTS. Can they use something like the SPM 1119 English? Are you aware of that? The O levels English?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
So
Right.
let me just check. So this, I'll share a link to our website on the chat. So I'm guessing everyone can the students access that as well as yourselves on this on the chat?
Yeah, you can share in the private chat. So our backend, we can share it to everyone, to the live. Yeah.
So that link there details the English language requirements across kind of each of our courses.
That'd be great.
And what it has the kind of the IELTS qualification and also the relevant qualification in other providers.
Yes. Okay. And many students, especially Malaysians, when they further study in the UK, they love to choose universities that are located in London, right? Yeah. So, Gordon, as a Scottish yourself, can you share with us what is different and what is special about Scotland, and why is it perhaps a good option for students to choose this place to further their studies?
Well, I am probably not the best person to answer that because I'm very biased. I'm a patriotic Scotsman, and I love my home country. I've actually just come back from spending a vacation in some of the islands of Scotland, which are absolutely stunning. You wouldn't believe that there are islands in Scotland that have beaches that look like the Caribbean Sea, but that's actually a reality. The water's a little bit colder, but no, Scotland is a beautiful, beautiful country. And I think coming to study in a city like Glasgow, you have the best of both worlds, because you've got a city that is very vibrant, it's happening, there's a lot of things going on, particularly for students. It's a city of about 800,000 people. So it's significantly smaller than London, significantly smaller than Kuala Lumpur, for example. But it's still large enough that you have all the services and amenities of a big city. But the beauty of it is that you can just walk around. Everything is easy to kind of navigate and to get around. And not only that, the rest of the country is so very accessible. So you can get off to the Highlands, the kind of beautiful scenery that's probably synonymous with Scotland, but also other cities as well. So you can get to London in 4 hours. So yes, you can get that kind of London experience as a place to visit. I mean, London is a city of kind of nearly 10 million people. There are about 8 or 9 different universities in London. The student population isn't nearly as high in proportion to the overall city as it is in Glasgow. And the kind of advantage with Glasgow is that many of the services provided by the city are actually geared towards the high proportion of students that the city has.
Okay. Yeah, Gordon, I think you are absolutely a great ambassador for Scotland. Don't say that you're not suitable to share. I mean, let's say, have you been to Malaysia, Gordon?
I have, yes, yeah.
Do you like Malaysia?
I love Malaysia, yeah. Particularly the people, they're very friendly, and that's something that Scotland enjoys as well. Very friendly people.
Okay. So I can also share with you how beautiful the beaches are in Malaysia, right? The islands and
I think the water will be slightly warmer in Malaysia than it is in Scotland.
For sure, for sure.
I was just joking with my kind of not being the best person to ask. I was just joking about my bias as a Scotsman. But on a serious note, I mean, it's not a case of. I mean, I get that kind of London is like the flagship city of the UK, and there will be people that are sold on London. That's great, and I'm sure you'll have a fantastic experience in London, but. Glasgow, it really just depends on what your priorities are and what you're looking for from your overall experience.
That's right.
And I think one of the advantages of studying in Glasgow is that we as a city kind of put students first, given the kind of high proportion of the population, which is made up by students. Whereas in London, yes, you've got all the kind of fun attractions and kind of amazing sites that everyone knows about London, but at the same time, you are just another person in what is a kind of large, bustling metropolis. So it's just a very different student experience that you'll get.
Okay, I will visit Scotland when I can one day.
Once you go, you never go back.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's no coming back. Like it's a wonderful place. Like it will capture your heart, I'm sure.
Hopefully the pandemic will be over soon, so I can get the opportunity to travel. So one more question. It's also one of the questions that students always ask us when they want to further study in UK, and they were asking, upon graduating, can the student have a opportunity to work in the UK, or they have to leave immediately? Because we know the regulations change on and off, and for different countries they have different systems. What's your take on this, Gordon?
So the reality now is, there has been a period since 2011 where the what we call the post-study work visa for graduates was reduced significantly from 2 years down to 4 months. The government has reintroduced the 2-year period, so it's now referred to as the kind of graduate entry route, whereby graduates will be allowed to stay for 2 years in the UK in order to find work. So it's a much more kind of favourable conditions now. And as I've touched on in the presentation, we have a designated career service on campus who can help you with all aspects of the kind of the job placement in the UK. So it's a service that's available to you as soon as you register for the course. So you don't have to wait until you're towards perhaps in your final year of undergraduate or your final semester of a postgraduate qualification. You can use that service as soon as you arrive on campus, and they can help to develop your kind of your journey through the kind of job application process.
Right. So what I think what Gordon also said is sums up as whether are you competitive enough, to be able to hire, because I think by these companies, and also I think it's Strathclyde can be a good a launch pad, because the university has such great industry relations.
Exactly.
I mean, throughout your courses, which allows students to learn more about companies in the UK and problems that these companies are facing, and get to work on case studies. Starting when they are still a student. Yeah. Okay. So
I've shared another link there to our career service, so that will give you a sense of the types of services and support that they can provide.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think students, I get to see a lot of insights. We have just posted all of the links. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you have been listening to is an introduction and overview of University of Strathclyde, UK. It's located in Glasgow, Scotland, and I have been speaking to Gordon Dunlop. He's a Senior International Recruitment Officer in charge of the Southeast Asia region. And before we let Mr. Gordon off for his wonderful 60-minute session here, we have learned a lot. Gordon, do you have any final words of wisdom that you would like to share with our fellow students here?
I think it's great that you're all taking the time to kind of look at opportunities in international study. I mean, I myself am a graduate of Strathclyde and had an international study experience as part of that experience, and it's an invaluable experience, a very formative experience that certainly, from a personal point of view, has shaped my career and shaped my life and the course that has taken. So it's something that I'm a great advocate of, and wherever you decide to do it, take the time, listen to these kind of presentations, tap into the knowledge and support from the counsellors at Apply Board Study Hub, and yeah, just do your research, find the course and find the university that's right for you, because it really is a kind of formative and life-changing experience. So good luck.
Thank you so much, Gordon. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for listening and spending this wonderful 60 minutes with us tonight. And today's session, Global Reach Series 7, is brought to you by Study Hub Student Advisory, JS Study Solutions, University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, and of course, made possible by Apply Board. So if you, out there listening, and if you are interested to know more about University of Strathclyde, what kind of courses they offer, what are their entry requirements, you can actually drop us a PM in our Facebook page, right? So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time, Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and for setting this up, and thank you all for joining.
Okay, so everyone, good evening, and Gordon, good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I got a very good job in Malaysia. I'm a pharmacist. I'm a registered pharmacist. I can open up my own pharmacy back in my country, but I decided to come here to do my postgraduate study. It is very easy. I applied through the agency, then I just got the offer from University of Strathclyde. It is so beautiful here. I really like here. I fall in love in Glasgow. I really like Glasgow. I love my flatmates. They are all from different countries, and we love each other. We are like a family. My lectures are awesome. They are all very good and very expert in their field. And we can see from my course, they not only invite the lecturer from the university itself, but also the scientists from the industry. This makes me really impressed. When you come back to student life again, you will start to learn new things, learn the thing you never have the chance to learn when you're doing your undergraduate in your own country. You can see so many different people from different countries. This world is so big. You have to come to Glasgow or University of Strathclyde. You can experience so many different things. It can change your mind for the future.